Because while some are fighting over the rate for the estate tax, there are obviously pros and cons on both sides. We've got Dan Mitchell of the Cato Institute who says it should be abolished altogether and says it even hurts the economy and kills jobs.
But Vice President Biden's former economic advisor, our friend Jared Bernstein, says he's got it all wrong. Both join us now to make nice on this whole thing, won't we, gentlemen? Hey, Dan, you got to admit, I mean, look, nobody likes the estate tax, but that would be a huge hit on the revenue side for the government if you abolish it altogether. You can't do that politically right now, can you?
With Obama in the White House, we probably can't do anything good. But as a economic matter, in terms of not discouraging saving and investing, and as a moral matter, not taxing people just because they die, the death tax should be wiped out. Australia got rid of their death tax. Even the former Soviet Union, Russia, got rid of their death tax. Countries around the world are figuring out that it makes no sense to tax and tax and tax and tax again and get rid of it.
Jared?
So actually 28 out of 34 of the OECD advanced economy countries have either a wealth tax or an inheritance tax or an estate tax. So factual error number one. Number two, you're absolutely right, Bill. If you were to completely abolish this, which nobody is talking about except Dan Mitchell, I guess, you'd be talking about something like $500 billion of revenue lost over the next 10 years. Now, where are you going to get that from? You're going to have to get that from programs that help lower-income people or from the middle class themselves. So now you're talking about literally a transfer from the top 0.2%, not 2%, but this tax only hits the 2 in 1,000 most wealthy estates, 0.2%, and that's because of the exemptions that we were talking about, exemptions that are currently $5 million for an individual, $10 million for a couple. So this is a very rarefied atmosphere up there, and to lose it would be a huge hit to the deficit.
Jared, it's not your money. It's not the government's money. If somebody like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or whoever goes out and makes a lot of money, they're first paying income tax, and then they're paying a double tax on dividends, and then the corporate tax is another layer of tax, and then you want to come in like the Grim Reaper and take money from their family when they die. It's not the government's money. We have a problem in Washington of too much spending. You want to make the matter worse by putting more blood in the water with the hungry sharks.
So, first of all, Dan, the fact that it's not my money, that's an argument about any taxation. I know it, folks at Cato would love to bring the tax rates down to zero for everything. And, perhaps in Cato world you could do that. But in the real world, where the government actually has to go out and do things, defend the country, pay for social insurance, things that people care about, education, infrastructure, we need to collect revenue. Now, when you're talking about collecting revenue from the top 0.2% of the wealthiest estates, folks whose capital gains, unlike you just said, folks whose capital gains have never been taxed before because they've never been realized. They've never been sold in the market.
Okay, we have to unfortunately leave it there. We've got time constraints. Apologies to Robert Frank.
Yeah, they sucked all the oxygen out of the room, but that's okay. That was Dan and Jared making nice right there on the estate tax.
Was that making nice?
That was them making nice.